My name is Marshall Atkinson. I've been in the industry since 1993. I'm a former art director. I have a degree in, is it still going? I have a degree in art from Florida State University. I'm a watercolorist. I do graphics. I still do them, okay? But at one point I was doing stuff for Nike and Chick-fil-A and Coke and a whole bunch of really huge companies you've probably heard of. The reason why I'm so passionate about Midjourney is I'm old enough, there's some folks in the room probably, they're old enough to remember that we didn't have computers and we did everything by hand. Okay, back in the old days, we used blue lines and we had to make our art and we had to strip it together with wax and cut it up with X-Acto knives and take a picture of it. And if you wanted the type or the image to be bigger, you had to use a proportion wheel and figure out it needs to be 128% larger to fit flush left, right with something. One piece of art could have taken 3 or 4 days. Okay, it's excruciatingly painful, right? At the time, I was working on my master's degree in architecture, and I had a t-shirt business. That's how I got in the industry to pay for graduate school, and I was selling to fraternities and sororities. And if you know anything about that market, you know how indecisive they are and what craziness that is. The thing that changed my life was the Macintosh when it came out, computers. I taught myself Photoshop. Instead of taking 2 or 3 days to do something, now I could do it in 3 or 4 hours or whatever. Changed my whole life. I quit architecture school. I became an art director for the t-shirt company that I hired to print my shirts. And I did that job for 14 years before I became the vice president of operations and running the company, right? So I know a lot about this stuff. And last year I started playing with Midjourney and just goofing off, like I'm sure you guys do, with DALL-E 3 or Leonardo or Stable Diffusion or whatever you guys are playing with. I play with them all. I think Midjourney's the best. I kept playing with it, and it had the epiphanal moment that this is just like when I started using a computer and how much it changed my life as a designer. I don't really do that full time, but I knew that this was going to really revolutionize graphics and designing and that type of stuff, and I needed to learn how to do it. And that's why I started really going crazy about it, okay? And so why Midjourney, okay? It's because to me, it gives you the best images by far, okay? But that's a subjective thing. Happy to argue with you, whatever, but at the end of the day, it's what you like, okay? If you want to use DALL-E 3 or whatever, those are great, but that's not what I know and teach, so that's not this class. This class is about Midjourney. A lot of the same stuff I'm going to be talking about could be applicable to other programs, but this is really Midjourney stuff. So a show of hands, how many people have, whether you're an expert or not or whatever, actually use Midjourney or have tried it out? Okay, that's pretty good. It's probably half or more of the class. How many people don't even know what I'm talking about and somebody said, go sit in that class? A couple people, that's okay. It's all right. So it's a lot of fun, okay? And Midjourney, or let's go to my next slide. So what Midjourney is a genius 4-year-old, okay? It's a Midjourney. It doesn't understand what a cat is. It doesn't understand whatever the prompts you in. That's not what it does. It seeks out information. It starts off with random noise. Who remembers the movie Poltergeist, right? When the little girl turns the channel to channel 1, there's static, right? They're here. You remember that? So it starts off with random noise, static, okay? Then every word that you put into the prompt sequence, it assigns a math algorithm to the static to make the image. It does not go out to the internet and copy and paste and put it over there like you might have done in Photoshop. That's not how it works, okay? So the people who say, well, you're stealing somebody's art, that's not what it does. It's not copying and pasting. it's inspired by something. So it wants to find out what is a beach, what is red, what is a shoe, what is a horse, all that, it's trillions of images and image to word pairs that matches up and is converted to math. How does it work? I have no idea. I'm not that nerdy about it, okay? I don't know. They wouldn't tell me anyway. So, but it's lots of fun, and we're going to show a bunch of stuff, but I wanted to tell you just the basic stuff about it, right? So the next thing is, what is it not? It's not an image editor. It's not Photoshop. It's not perfect, okay? And the metaphor I use all the time is, I want you to pretend that there's some football games going on today, right? I want you to pretend you're in the end zone playing the game of football, and they just kicked off, and you caught the ball, and you run all the way down to the opposing team's 7-yard line, right? The crowd is going to go crazy, but you haven't scored a touchdown yet. You still have to do a couple plays to get it in the end zone. Midjourney isn't perfect, okay? It doesn't need to be. It's going to get you all the way down there, and then if you don't like some little thing, just delete it. Just erase it. Just change it. Add your word. Do your thing. The idea here for us in this industry is this is how we can create concepts, iterate, come up with the craziest idea ever in a minute, and we can show it to a client maybe or whatever. And I'm going to show you some stuff that you're just going to go, oh my God. But it's not going to be perfect, so don't expect it to be. And it's going to take you some work to learn how to use it. And if you're a designer, you already know where the pen tool is and a brush tool and a clone tool, and you can make a square and you can do the type and whatever. Midjourney is completely different because it's using word prompts. So, how good's your vocabulary? If you don't have good words, you're not going to get good results. So what words do you use? That really matters. And also when we think about the words we're using, okay, some words who might mean the same thing, like minimalist, if that doesn't get you there, what about stark or simple or any other words? So a thesaurus is your best friend with Midjourney. I use a thesaurus daily. What's another word for this? That's the cool way of doing it. And I'll show you in a minute, I started keeping a spreadsheet of the words that I've tried, and I'm over 800 right now. Okay? On the little pad there, I've got my Instagram, which is my name, Marshall Atkinson. I post a daily Midjourney experiment. It's me goofing off learning words. The secret to that is to ignore the subject. It's a cat, it's a horse, it's a logo, it's a pattern. Ignore what the subject is and pay attention to the words I'm using, the order that they're in, and if you see some words that are just weird, like I'm going to show you some, what is that word? Right? And then you go off and play with it, right? That's the fun part, all right? So, here's the power of Midjourney. So how many people saw the little social media posts that I made for this class? Raise your hand if you saw. They look like little robot science fiction stuff. It was on my Instagram, social media stuff. Okay, not very many people, so my social media sucks. So thanks. So anyway, so here are the prompts that I used, right? Retro-futuristic 1950 sci-fi characters, that's one prompt idea. Antique sci-fi technology. What does that mean? I was thinking Buck Rogers, okay? Color degradation, meaning I want it to be all vintagey and like messed up, right? Futuristic mythological imagery, okay? Oh my God, right? I would have never, if I had never started doing this, I would never found that prompt. I'll show you how to find prompts just like that. Risograph, which is a form of printing, and then here's the thing. Stylized, this is a power permutation with the curly bracket, that's super important, curly bracket, and these numbers, okay? Now, the power prompt, which I'm going to show you live here in a little bit, Midjourney gives you a grid of 4 images, okay? And so I was able to create 1, 2, 3, 4 times 4, 16 images in 2 minutes. About a minute, okay? From that, I upscaled and played around with them, okay? And from that, I created 48 different poster ideas in about 2, 3, 4 minutes. Okay? I'm going to show you what we did. So here are the different poster ideas. This is one grid. Here's another grid. These are all these sci-fi things. I'm just going to blow through them a little bit. Sometimes I'm upscaling, so if you see this one with the different robots, that means I upscaled it. I'll show you what that means. Same thing here. And I'm just going to click all the way through, right? So I chose 5 images. I use Affinity Designer because it's faster than Photoshop. I brought each of the images in. There's the different layers. I created my text, and I duplicated each of the text layers. Each text layer, I changed the font, and then I flattened each pairs, right? Saved it as a PNG, uploaded it to Buffer, which is the social media app that I use, and in under about 30 minutes, 28 minutes, I completely created a whole marketing campaign from scratch in under half an hour with 5 posts. Okay? And here are the images. This is the first one, right? Which is the gigantic robot, right? And this is the, you can see this is where you are right now. And you may have recognized some of these from the thing what I was just showing you, right? These are all on my Instagram, okay? So these are 5 similar images created from one prompt, and the whole thing took 30 minutes to do, okay? So this is how you do things quickly, right? Now, you might say, well, you know, I need a little cat logo thing. We'll show you how to do that. I don't need a whole poster. I just need one little thing. So Midjourney, by default, when you download an image that you're going to use, is a pretty crappy file. It's a 72 DPI file by 1024 by 1024, which we all know you're not going to do much with what we do. Okay? Now, Midjourney has the ability to upscale with a higher resolution, but it's like waiting on Christmas. It's really slow. So there's some tools that you can also invest in if you're an impatient person like me. I have these. These work great. I'll show you how to use them here in a minute. So the first one is called Gigapixel, and I'll show you what that's like later. But Gigapixel takes it and it takes that image. It uses AI. So if you've got that image, when you blow it up, it's 72 DPI, but it's 54 inches square. So now you can resample it at a 300 DPI file for 20 inches square, and it's going to be like 80 megs or whatever, and it's going to be super sharp and crisp. Okay, this is a great program. It's like $100. Okay, the next is Trace Journey. Trace Journey is another great program. Okay, and it's actually kind of a bot thing. Currently, Midjourney is using Discord as the platform. They're moving to their own website soon. Trace Journey might not follow them over there because they're going to be off of the Discord platform. I know that might sound confusing if you don't know what I'm talking about, but I'll show you what I'm in a minute. But Trace Journey allows you to download a vector file of the image. It allows you to upscale. It also allows you to delete the background. All native inside, so when you start using the file, you don't have to live trace it and do all that stuff. So if you're a graphic designer, I'm sure you can appreciate what that means, okay? If you're not, ask your artist. All right, so power users and tips. We want to learn to drive the car, okay? And I'm going to go through these a little quickly because I'm really anxious to get to the live playing around with Midjourney kind of a thing, okay? So here's our first thing is I have a spreadsheet, and I'm going to pull that up. So here's my spreadsheet I have. This is my actual spreadsheet, okay? And as you can see, I can keep scrolling. These are all the prompt words that I've tried. Let's go all the way down to the bottom and see where we are. We're at 852, okay? Now, when you're learning this stuff, it really pays to keep track of the words you're using because you might discover gold. And I'll show you how you can do some what I call prompt mining and find words that really can help you based on your style or your customers or whatever. So this is a good thing to do, is just keep a simple spreadsheet about how to do something. Okay? All right, so let's go back to the thing. All right. So this also, this is like the real Midjourney thing. So this flower background thing, look at all those, right? These are all different little flower backgrounds. I created all those in, I don't know, about 5 minutes. Okay, which I'll show you in a minute how to do that. But if you're looking for the perfect thing, right, you can sit there and click and re-roll and whatever, or you can just do power moves, which is what I want to show you, and you can create a lot of stuff all at once and just pick the ones that you like I did with the space thing, and then you could start playing with those, and it's a lot easier to get to the outcome that you want, okay? So there's another thing you might know is that Midjourney doesn't really understand colors and stuff. So if you've got a particular color, maybe a client color, and you want to find out what the color name of that color is, there's an app called color-name.com. So anybody here do anything for Susan B. Komen? You know, the walk, the breast cancer thing? This is Susan B. Komen pink, which is in color name as frostbite pink. So if you use frostbite pink, and here's the really annoying part, not all of the time, because remember, Midjourney is a genius 4-year-old, you could get this color pink or not. And if you don't get the pink you want, you just keep re-rolling until you do, okay? But you have a greater chance of hitting this color. Hopefully, in some future edition, it'll understand a hex code, which would be way easier.